So, hey guys, it's Lohpally here with another video, and today we're going to be going over kind of an encumberment of the patch and kind of what I expect for it for 11.11. Now, for those who don't know what's happening in the patch, basically what's happening is that Moonstone is getting a huge buff of 50% extra healing, and Warmog's requirement for maximum health is no longer there and instead requires 1100 bonus health, which basically means on tank supports, you will be able to run this as a first item. I'm changing the tier list. As a first item, and for a second item, you'll be able to actually take it on a lot of other enchanter supports, because you get 800 from your Warmogs, you get 200 from your Mythic, and then you can get 250 to 100 bonus health and healing, or bonus health from your Sightstone quest. Alright, I'm not going to plug that in. So yeah, basically what's going to happen is this is the tier list I would present to you for patch 10.10, but I'm going to bounce things around a lot because there's going to be a lot of new power curves for stuff. So one of the huge changes, will actually have a pretty huge change on champions like Soraka, because you'll be able to go Moonstone and get an incredible amount of extra bonus healing and shielding, and then by proxy of that, the Warmog's change means you can go Warmog second. This means the landscape of champions changes. So like Lulu originally was really great because people wanted to play tanks a lot, but now a lot of your matchups will be probably more enchanter oriented with the Moonstone buffs. These are pretty big significant things. We saw it on the PvE when I was testing it. There's a lot of extra bonus in healing and shielding. So basically if the tank doesn't get ahead in the early stages, enchanters will reign supreme. Now I know there's some changes also to Senna on this patch, which is just kind of like nerfs to like the slowing item, the Frostfire Gauntlet, but I actually think that Senna does really well in an enchanter-oriented meta. Plus, I think you can actually just go Glacial into Locket if you have all-in matchups that you find problematic. So because of that, I think that these are kind of going to be the crowning jewels of support in the next patch. The reason why I moved Lulu down a little bit is just because Lulu does poorly into these matchups. So, like, Lulu is bad into Zyra, into Soraka, into Senna, etc. So I moved Lulu down to the A tier. She'll be an S tier in some matchups where, like, you play against, like, a Nautilus or maybe even Leona. But just based on the predication that this landscape doesn't really change that much, I think that this is probably going to be your S tiers. I know there's a nerf to Leona's like damage on her W. It's not a big deal. So then like our A tier kind of encumbers basically the enchanters that get buffed from this, or champions that have good matchups into enchanters. So you kind of see right here that we have Karma still here. Yuumi will be really good. Nautilus still does well in the most enchanters, so he's like one of the premium tanks besides Leona. Thresh will actually be predicated a lot on skill. I think actually in general I probably put Thresh on a B tier nowadays, just because you need a lot of skill to get value out of him, and a lot more people are currently playing a lot of champions that just run Legends Tenacity and just block your hooks forever. So like Kayn, Echo, lots of drain tanks, Lee Sin in soul lanes, etc. So I actually don't like Thresh nearly as much as I used to. And then basically like all the enchanters kind of get bumped into the B or the A tier, just depending on things. And I actually think Ashe does really well into a lot of these matchups too. So those are kind of like, this is kind of like the B tier, which is just you can play all these champions, they're okay, but they're not great. And these are kind of the ones that you want to pay attention to, which are the upper echelon of champions, which is Karma, Yuumi, Lulu, Soraka. I think Sona has potential to be really good, but I'm not quite sure where I put her in terms of power level, because I want to put her A, but she has a lot of matchup issues when it comes to some of these S tier matchups. So I'm very hesitant to put her as an A or above tier. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be pretty much it. Like, the changes are mostly aimed at, increasing healing and shielding, and then giving people access to Warmogs. But I think that this means that access to Warmogs means that more people on your team will be building Warmogs, rather than making tanks all of a sudden OP because they can go Warmogs, like tank supports. I think they'll just be okay-ish to not great, and it won't matter that much. So this is kind of like how the tier list looks out for me. Most champions are just meh now, and I think that these are the upper echelon of really powerful champions that you'll probably be seeing pretty often in your solo queue games, and what you'll be wanting to play in the future. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment in the section below, and hit that bell and whistle, and I'll see you next time. Peace.